Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to create a Lambda function. We are going to execute it in our local, and we are going to run DynamoDB in our local using Docker. And from Lambda, we are going to connect to the DynamoDB running in our local. So for that, you need to create a different network. So with this command, you can do it Docker network create Lambda local. This command will help you to create a different network. So once you have that, then run the Docker image in your local. So and when you run it, you have to specify the network. So here it is Lambda local. So you can specify any other network if you want, any other name for this network if you want. So once you run it, it will show something like this. Yeah, initializing DynamoDB with the following configuration. So yeah, as you can see here, share DB is false. For some of you, it may create an issue, but for me, it worked fine. So I just let it be false. So not a problem. Yeah. So the next thing is to verify the DynamoDB instance which is running in your local. So one more thing, I'm using Docker Toolbox. So if you are using Docker Toolbox, so you cannot directly connect to a local host 8000. So you need to get the default IP. So this is a command for that, a Docker machine IP default. This is required only for people running Docker Toolbox, not Docker for Windows or Docker for Mac or something. So yeah, don't forget to execute this and get the IP if you are running Docker in your local using Docker Toolbox. So once you have the IP, we'll use the IP, and I hope you have already used the AWS CLI. So this is a command to view all the tables. So when you start using the CLI, you will configure the region, so it will fetch for that region. So when I execute this command, actually it will check in my AWS account and list all the tables. But when we use the endpoint URL and specify the IP and the port 8000, so it will actually fetch the tables from our local instance of DynamoDB. So for the first time when you run this command, you will see a blank array like this. Let me show you that. So when I run this command, I get a blank array here. So that means you have set up DynamoDB in your local properly, and you're ready for the next step. So the next step is to create a table. Okay, so I'm creating a table orders with the primary key order ID. Okay, so default read capacity unit and write capacity unit is 5. So when I execute this command, so I see the table getting created. Okay, so now if I do list tables with the endpoint URL, I see I have a table orders. Okay, so next we are going to put some data in this table. So right, you have to specify the data in a JSON format. I am saving it in a file, so you can do that. So here it is. Make sure when you are saving it, you have the hash key. Okay, so this is the hash key. Other items are optional. You can add anything with the key and ID pair. So yeah, when you execute this, it will display the consumed capacity, the table name. So here I think the data is saved. So uh, next is to get the data. So here also I am passing the where conditions in a file. So here it is, key to. So here just pass the primary key alone. You cannot pass anything else. So with the primary key you have to fetch. So let's see the result of that. So here it is. So we have inserted the data and we are able to fetch it. So let's go ahead and create a new function. So I hope you are already aware of SAM, AWS SAM. If not, just check the video in the playlist and install SAM. So when you install it, you can do SAM init and you can create a project. So it will give you a project something like this. You will not have this .aws SAM folder. You will have other things like source and everything. So these things are a part of a template which gets downloaded when you do SAM init. So once you have this, you just come to the index.js file. So here you have to make the changes and here also make sure you have to update the region. Region can be anything. You have to make sure that the endpoint is uh, whatever is the IP and the port 8000. So this is the first important thing. Uh, okay, so now we are going to fetch the data from our tables. So specify the details in the params. So table name is orders and key you have to specify the primary key. If you have a composite key you can specify that also here, but I have only one. So I'm just specifying that I have only the partition key. Okay, and then you have to call dynamodb.get. I'm using the DynamoDB client, DynamoDB document client. So here you have to use get. If you are using DynamoDB, then you have to use get item. Just remember that, and then params are same. So yeah, our Lambda function is ready, and now we are going to build it. So just go to the root folder where you have the template.yml. So before invoking, you have to do a build. Just type sam build. So if you have any errors, you will come to know here. Otherwise, the build will be successful. Generally, the build is successful if you don't have any error in the template. So when you do an invoke, at that point of time, it will try to execute the code. So yeah, so once the build is success, just go for invoking it. So whatever command you see in the AWS documentation, apart from that, you have to include this Docker network. So you can recall that I have added this Docker network while creating the DynamoDB instance in the Docker. So the DynamoDB is in one container, uh, and we have to invoke the Lambda function in the same container. Sorry, in the same network, not the container. Okay, so when we invoke it, as you can see, it is trying to invoke it in Docker, and then so here it is. Here is the response. So as you can see, we are able to fetch the data from the DynamoDB using our Lambda function. So this is all for the video. The code and everything is shared in the description. But let me know if you have any doubts. Thanks for watching. Bye.